Hi everyone and welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus. You are very welcome to another episode of The Focus. I think this is episode number 59 now. Very impromptu, hop on whenever I want to talk about movies, TV, pop culture, but mostly collecting and particularly 1/6 scale. So we're gonna take a look at that Anakin that has just been kind of teased by Hot Toys on their official Instagram and Facebook. We're going to recap on Sideshow Con day one that started yesterday, which I presume could be the same as day 2, 3, 4, and 5 because they tend to do the same thing over and over again. Maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe they'll stagger their kind of reveals during the week, but who knows? We're going to start off with a bit of Loki, and we're going to talk about Prey as well, really briefly. Let's take a look at who's in the chat. Okay, so we got Keith, 6 scale Padawan, all the way from Ireland, just probably up the road really. Shouldn't you be working, Keith? Thanks very much for being here. Shiny in with the usual brand of comedy. Normally people are like, imagine an in-art version with rooted hair. With this we're like, imagine an in-art version with sculpted hair. I know you're joking, but I gotta say, from what I've seen so far from in-art, I think Hot Toys have the edge with the sculpted hair, but I think that in-art have the edge with the rooted hair. But of course you need more data. Realistically, we need to see, I think, what the Harry Potter with rooted hair would look like. We're going to need to see what the Robert Pattinson Batman with rooted hair looks like, and Gandalf and everything, just to kind of take that all in. But there's definitely a disconnect between the teaser photos we got today of this Anakin, because I think the rooted hair actually looks quite good on it, but then on the actual product that Sideshow kind of teased yesterday, I presume they're the same, but I'm not 100%. I really haven't taken a good look at everything, so that's what I'm going to do now. Would be great if they did a rooted dark side sculpt too. Yeah, who knows? Beskar Kid, one of the biggest Star Wars fans and collectors in the game. I'd slaughter a whole Tuscan village to get this figure, and not just men, but the women and children too. That's funny. If you know, you know. Thanks very much for being here. We've got the Figurassic Park. Check out this guy's photography on Instagram if you haven't done so already. Really creative. Absolutely love looking at him. We got T-Ria here as well. Dark Side Beskar Kid, exactly. Beskar Kid, he's ruthless. He's a ruthless man. Ian from Scotland. I have enough trouble managing my own hair, never mind the rooted figure. Yeah, fair enough. I gotta say, I know people are sick of hearing about the in-art rooted Joker, but gotta say the hair is holding up pretty well. I was a bit skeptical when I saw them flopping around those boxes or cylinders they come with, but yeah, took it out, pushed it down a bit, fine. Probably could style it a bit more, but I'm kind of, the less I touch that rooted hair, the better, to be honest. We've got Mike Fela. Hey everyone, what a difference a day makes. Anakin went from looking like he had his head out a car window yesterday for being presentable today. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because I don't think there's definitely a bit of the official promotional images are always going to be as poked and prodded at as humanly possible. Maybe what we got yesterday or saw yesterday in Sideshow is what it would actually look like. Then again, maybe it's an unfinished prototype, I don't know. The English Gentleman, afternoon people, afternoon to you. We got Tragedy Tales, channel member, great to see you here. Shiny, actually agreed. I actually think Hot Toys do sculpted hair very well. I prefer the rooted hair. Yeah, I think they do it very well, to be fair. Alright, so what's coming up on this particular live stream? I don't want to hold you hostage, so what do we got? Shout out to the members first, people that keep the lights on. We've got, first of all, the troopers. We got Mugwump, Stephen Rinks, Mike. We got Payden23, Chuli, Bendu Windu, and Ryan Smith. Then in the commanders tier, we got Tragedy Tales, who's in the building. The 6 scale Gallery Allen, X-Man Supreme, 12-inch Moostream, Philip the Fool, Keith the 6 scale Padawan, who's also here watching. Mark Mitchell, William Owens, Brandon Salad, Phil Empire Strikes Again, Collecting Weekly, and Boba Fettuccini. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to very quickly give my thoughts on classic Loki. I have a bunch of stuff to do today for the channel content wise, because yesterday I was working on the extra collection room itself. I had to wire up a few CCFLs and move some stuff around in anticipation for Cad Bane, who has shipped and will be coming within the next few days. And also the two boys from Peaky Blinders, Arthur and Thomas Shelby, arrived in today. I unboxed Tommy, and the first thing I looked for to see that signature plaque. So if you've been paying attention to the channel, you know I'm a big Peaky Blinders fans. I've been tempted to get those Arthur and Thomas Shelby from Big Chief Studio pieces for a while. I saw that there was a significant discount on at the moment. Pulled the trigger on them last week. They arrived today. And the ones I went for were the signature editions. They're a bit more expensive, but actually they actually worked out great with the discount. They were cheaper than the regular editions were before the discount, significantly cheaper. So the signature editions are limited to 400. Now, I'm not too pushed about that. It's kind of cool. You get a plaque. I got like number 350 out of 400. That's cool and all that. But what's more important is on that kind of aluminium kind of plaque, you have Cillian Murphy's signature, which is pretty damn cool. The figure itself, I was a bit worried because I was worried that all the layering would look bulky. And Dean Knight, massive shout out to Dean Knight, he hit the nail on the head in his showcase and review. He basically said that it kind of can look with all the layering on, because like he has like, you know, a shirt, like Thomas Shelby has a shirt on, he has kind of like a tweed jacket, and then there's a big overcoat. And with all the layers on, it can look like you lose the neck a bit. But he just said if you pull up the neck a small bit, not detach it, just so it's on the edge of the ball joint, you can still articulate and move around. It actually gives a better, more natural look to the figure, and he's dead right, and that's exactly what it did. Gotta say, I'm very impressed with it. I haven't taken a good look at it now. I just stood it up, actually put the cigarette in its mouth with the smoke effect, and something I normally wouldn't use, but it looks really, really well. So looking forward to getting them posed up. The problem with rooted hair is when you use the hood on it. Yeah, true. I had the problem with Justice League Wonder Woman. Yeah, if I was getting that particular Anakin with the rooted hair, if the rooted hair was good, I wouldn't be using the hood. I suppose it's an advantage of sculpted. You can pose it with the hood, or you could pose it without the hood, and there's no issue, no futzing required after. You got Noble Young here as well. Focus got Cad Bane coming already. I'm so jealous. I'm having such a hard time waiting for that one. Have you watched Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi here? I don't want to have to put you on timeout, Mike. Sean Firmage. Funny story about Sean Firmage. I've never actually spoke to the man, but I believe he's UK based. And he set up an Instagram, I think maybe 2020, 2021. And he was just taking photos of his collection. And I know at the time, obviously I was a collector, but I didn't have an Instagram. I didn't have a YouTube channel. And I thought, I might actually do that, you know? And just, it was kind of definitely one of the little things. There's a few little things along the way which kind of acted as catalysts to get me to start the Instagram and then start the YouTube channel and then all this kind of stuff. And some of the way Sean kind of set up his Instagram and, you know, was putting his photo up definitely was one of those little things along the line where I was going, maybe I could do that. So, yeah, just an interesting story there about Sean. I've never actually spoke to the man, but thanks for being here, Sean. We got Noble Young, Beskar, Gotta Run. Bark Speeders out for delivery, so heading home, catching a rewind. Thank you very much, I do appreciate that. I thought you were off to the gym to train those legs. Focus, speaking of legs actually, Beskar. Yeah, suffering from DOMs today. Came back from holidays and tried to do the same set that I was doing before holidays. And yeah, I'm walking like John Wayne. Stairs are a problem today. Focus, thanks for saying Killian's name. I've heard so many pronunciations of it. I'm definitely taking the pronunciation of an Irishman. Yeah, his name is definitely Cillian. It's not Cillian. It's a hard C like a K. It's a K sound. So Cillian Murphy. Sean, new pictures released of Anakin today, and that's what we're going to look at. That's what we're going to look at and kind of maybe do a little bit of debating on that. Payton23, channel member. Massive shout out to all the channel members, troopers and commanders. If you're interested in becoming a channel member for additional kind of extra perks, including like if you are a commander, then you'll have your name featured at the end of all the videos and the live stream and stuff like that. But yeah, check it out. There is a link pinned in the live chat there. I don't use Insta at the moment, but would love to talk to you properly. But definitely, yeah, we'll make that happen at some stage. Did you see that funky green monster the trooper was right? The Dewback? No? What am I missing? Let me know. Then again, I can't really take you seriously ever, Shiny. That's why we love you. Alright, so what we're going to go on to? We're going to go on to Classic Loki really quickly. Yeah, go on. I'm just going to go on to Classic Loki right now. Okay. Right, I haven't actually had a look at this. After this, I've been busy. Like so, yesterday I was very busy because I was like I said, I was doing some work in the collection room. I had to drill a few holes at the bottom of DTOFs to wire some CCFLs, and in preparation for some fusion reactors, and I had to move some things around. So yeah, that's what I was doing yesterday. So there was no content really. But today I more or less finished that, and I popped a few shorts up there actually of the Ahsoka Tano with 2 CCFL custom blades. I'm actually really happy with it. And the Beskar, the Bespin Luke as well. I wired up the base and I got a CCFL for him as well. And I gotta say, like, it's a very simple figure. Like, I think that's a figure that I bought for, I'm going to say it, for the nostalgia, because Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie, because of that initial confrontation with Vader and everything that goes from it. It is iconic. I mean, the word iconic gets thrown around a lot, but it is definitely iconic. It stands the test of time. So, but the figure itself, like, you know, people said he was janitor Luke. It's a jumpsuit with a holster. That's really what it is. So to make it like just really pop, I think you gotta have that light up base, and the CCFL. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with them. Now, don't take my word for it. I've only recently got a few. I got one for the Mando Luke. I got one for the Bespin Luke that I'm talking about now, and of course I got the 2 for the live action Ahsoka. They look phenomenal. I can come in, I can press a button, everything goes on. The Luke lights, the CCFLs, my fusion reactors. I don't know how long they're going to last. I have mine at 25%, and if I'm on a 2-3 hour live stream, I always make a point of going and just touching the sabers and seeing if they're that hot, and so far they haven't been. But I have heard horror stories about them kind of like drooping or melting or something like that, but maybe that's because people had them on 100%. I don't think you need to have them on 100%, but anyway, if I come in one morning and they're all melted, I'll let you know. We got Brian Fontaine. Mentioned Sean Firmage earlier on about his Instagram presence, which definitely motivated me to start my own Instagram. But if without the 6 scale scavengers, Brian, TC and Chris Letty, I wouldn't have a channel. It was definitely a few things pushed me, and people kind of whether motivated me, inspired me, or maybe just like friends and family just going, yeah, just go for it. So shout out to you, Brian. Shiny, just googled it. It's a dewback. It's more of a trooper back. Funky green fella. We'll be taking a look at that as well. Right, let's just take a look at this Loki here. All right. Okay, so from what I can remember, this guy is from the Disney Plus TV show Loki. I'm pretty sure the actor is Richard E. Grant. In fairness, I think all the sculpts, the Loki Presidents, the Loki TVA, the Sylvie, and the sculpts are very strong on these. I think So Toys actually did a version of this as well, but I do think this one has the edge. Sculpt looks good. It's funny, when I watch a movie that is based on a comic book or an animated series or even a computer game, one of the things I always say is that direct lifts directly from comic book to movie, or directly from like animated series or a computer game, direct lifts straight onto the big screen, they don't often work. Things that work in a comic book or a computer game or a computer might not necessarily work on film and TV. This is what the Avengers would have looked like if they did direct lifts for everything. But now I'm not kind of dissing it as well. I think it's an interesting way and a clever way of them getting an Easter egg, getting the classic look for Loki into live action. I think it's quite clever, and I think it's a very nice nod to the source material. But yeah, I'm glad that like not all the movies are like this. I mean, my favorite Batman suit is the DX-19, but it's not a direct lift from the comic book. It's a mashup of elements of, you know, the Batman suits and then how would it actually work in the real world. And that's what I really like. Sometimes direct lifts are good, but it doesn't always work. Now, in this case, like I wouldn't like to watch an Avengers 2012 where everyone has a suit like this. I mean, in fairness, I think the first Captain America suit, the one that he was using, like the one that looked like pajamas, it was nice to include it, but I you know, are you going to pick that over stealth suit? I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't pick it over stealth. I'd be picking the stealth suit or the endgame suit any day of the week over that one. But it was a nice inclusion, we'll say. So thoughts on this? This is, I believe, $285. Just to check, yeah, Sideshow openers, $285 from Sideshow, based on the look of classic Loki or Richard E. Grant, pretty famous actor, and from the Loki Disney Plus TV show. I love the inclusion of a duffel bag. It's just the random things which make it kind of funny. There's no way in hell I'd be getting this, though. I mean, I have yet to pre-order or buy or own something. I don't own any figure from Disney Plus, from the Marvel Disney Plus TV shows, because I just don't think they're good enough. I don't think the, just to be clear, I don't think the shows are good enough. I don't go back and rewatch them. I've never gone back and rewatched any Disney Plus Marvel show. I mean, I've seen them all. I've watched WandaVision, I've watched Loki, I've watched Falcon the Winter Soldier, I've watched Miss Marvel, I've watched the werewolf, the werewolf one. You know the one I'm talking about, but yeah, I've never gone back to them. You know, they're kind of, find them mildly entertaining. I'm falling behind on Secret Wars though. Secret Wars or Secret Invasion? Secret Invasion. Yeah, I must complete that. I've heard it's good, but I'm just a bit skeptical, to be honest. Like, so there was no way I was getting anything from this show, but the figure's good, the head sculpt is good, the proportions and the coloring and everything, it looks like it did in the show. Not a fan of those magic effects. I think they kind of take me out of it, because here this looks like a photograph, but then when I look at the things in his hands, it takes me out of it a bit. So yeah, look, let me know what you think. Anyone actually, I'd be surprised. I bet you no one in the chat is actually picking this up. But prove me wrong. Yeah, Brian, yeah, good to see you here. Shiny, and then we got Mike, Richard E. Grant. As good as it looks, I feel the same. This is a pass for me. I think this one is maybe this is one for the people, I think, whose collecting is rooted in their love of comics. Like mine is rooted in my love of movies. You know, movies, cinema, and, you know, TV programs, but mostly for the most part movies, live action. Whereas if you're a comic book kid and you grew up you know, reading comic books and that's your thing, maybe you're going to pick up this classic Loki in the same way that you might have picked up the first Captain America that looked kind of, you know, pajamas-esque, or perhaps the Iron Man Origins figures that are out now, or even the one that was that teased on the Sideshow Con yesterday. Yeah, it looks fantastic though, just not for me. This cheeky chap will look great in people's collections, but I'm not getting it either. Yeah, I genuinely think this is one for the diehard comic book fans, or the diehard Loki fans, or the Loki completionists, or the people that just loved the show, you know. And pretty much they're all sorry, this chair is an absolute menace. You see, I sometimes if I watch back live streams, I see like, what's wrong with you? It's like I have a tick, but I'm just like, it just annoys my back, like, and I'm on about getting a new chair for the longest time. It'll happen eventually. That or back surgery. Right. So Secret Invasion isn't bad, just a bit slow burn. I do like a slow burn. I love Andor. I like slow movies that build up and eventually just boom, there's a massive twist, and just I like that. Like Breaking Bad is my favorite TV show ever, and just the first season, even when I rewatch it now, I do notice how slow it was, but then it just, like, as soon as Gustavo Fring pops into it, rock and roll. I met Gustavo Fring, or Giancarlo Esposito, in Dublin about a month ago. I was in there with the girlfriend, and we were a place called Grand Canal Dock, and Megan just said, "That's your man from Star Wars." And sure enough, it was. And went into a coffee shop, and he was standing next to me, and he just went, you know, "Excuse me, you're Giancarlo Esposito, aren't you?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Big fan of your work," and that was it. Tragedy Tales, pretty epic figure. Not for me yet. I see, like, I don't think anyone here is getting this. I loved the show. I loved the character. I loved the act, but no, the suit is too simple for me. Fair enough. Yeah. The sculpt on the class, it does look so good. Paid in 23 channel member. As long as it's not a slow burner, as in the Lord of the Rings, that was awful. Yeah, like, I'm a fair weather Lord of the Rings fan. I'm a fan of the original trilogy. More so the regular cuts, though. I've watched the director's cuts as well, and for me, I guess I'm not a big enough fan to justify the director's cuts. If I'm going to sit down to watch the trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy, it'll just be the regular theatrical releases, and I just think they're just beautiful, beautiful trilogy. But then, like, The Hobbit, it was fine, the cinema, but I've no desire to go back and rewatch it again. I think I rewatched them recently, but it just didn't do it for me. It wasn't the same. Lord of the Rings was fantastic. But yeah, that Lord of the Rings show on Amazon, I just thought that was poor. I haven't heard too many people who thought it was good. But if you did, more power to you. Breaking Bad, is that another one? Oh my god, like, I'm going to put you on timeout, man. Seriously, I'm actually jealous that you have not seen it. Just power through that first season. It's slow because it lays the foundation. You're not going to build a house with the roof. Okay, you're not going to build a house with the kitchen or the top floor. You're going to start with the foundations. When the foundation's good, you work away. That's exactly what they did. Nice and slow. They set the scene. They set up the plot. They introduced the characters, who's who, and then boom, second and third season. Just like, yeah, it just takes off. All right, so like that's classic Loki. What's next on our agenda? Agenda is such a loaded word. I feel there's some words like just a loaded word. Okay, so classic Loki. Next thing we gotta take a look at is Prey. So this really quickly, I'm just gonna take a look at this. Where did they have this? Where did I see this? They haven't really shown us anything yet. They've done the Hot Toys thing that they do, and they've just shown us this. So, in case you've been, living under a rock, Disney now own I believe, the Predator brand and back catalog as well, I believe, and they own Alien as well. Now, there is an Alien show in the works, I believe. I can't remember if it's a show or a movie, but they've already made and released this movie, Prey. Now, look, I love science fiction. That was like, if I had to pick what's your favorite genre, if I had to pick, I love film in general, but if I had to pick a favorite genre, if I could only watch one type of genre for the rest of my life, I probably would pick science fiction. I'm probably a bit biased because I'm a science and chemistry teacher, but just hear me out. Few boxes to tick. Good science fiction provides as much eye candy as it does brain candy. You take a movie like The Matrix, right? There's enough there. You have to watch that movie a few times before you really see what's happening, and you pick up these little things you didn't pick up. I love watching a movie, the second watch and the third watch. I'm like, oh, that's why he did that. I think that's a sign of a good movie. There's a lot of little details and stuff, and it's hard when you're watching it for 2 hours in the cinema and like you get the gist of the story, but there's little things you might notice, like set pieces or someone saying someone or just looking at something in a certain way. And I find that science fiction, good science fiction, provides enough kind of imagination, creativity, and brain candy. And then you merge that with the action. I think The Matrix is just a fantastic example because the storyline is really good. And it's kind of mind blowing. And you have that rug pull experience in the theater where he steps through the mirror after taking the red pill, and then he ends up in this vat which he's grown in, like his real physical form. He's grown in since like a fetus. And while his mind thought he was this computer program or wherever he was in the real world, that was just mind blowing. But my point is, you've got the brain candy and the plot, and then you've got the action. I mean, come on, bullet time, fantastic, groundbreaking special effects at the time. Just the roof scene, the lobby scene, that scene where he's in the train station at the end and they've rescued Morpheus and he's about to run away from Smith, but he stops and he slowly turns around, and Trinity and Morpheus, who are back in the Nebuchadnezzar, are going, what's he doing? And Morpheus said his big smile, and he's like, he's starting to believe. That, even describing that, the hairs in the back of my neck stand up. So for me, like, science fiction is where it's at. Although, like, I love like Fight Club. I love The Usual Suspects. I love the Quentin Tarantino movies and, Scorsese movies and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, in a roundabout way, I love the first Predator movie. As cheesy as some of the one-liners is, that's what make it better. Great movie. So that will still be my favorite Predator movie. But after that, I really didn't none of them really did it for me. Whether it was the second Predator, I don't think it was good as the first. I didn't think Alien versus Predator was good, and I'm a big Alien fan. Like, I'm a bigger Alien fan than Predator fan. My point is, if I could pick one, it'd be that first Predator from the Predator movie. However, When I watched Prey, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was just a bloody well-made movie, and seeing this tease during the week, I was like, I want to go back and watch that, because I was watching it and almost going, geez, I wasn't ready for this to actually be good. I thought this was going to be poor. So yeah, I really liked, the style, the way they shot it, the cinematography, the action, the main character as well. Like, she's a strong female character, but like they kind of made her work. From what I remember, please correct me if I'm wrong on this now, because I watched this once a year ago. From what I remember, because she was only like a slip of a thing, she was a kind of small, she was kind of relatively petite, From what I remember, she worked to her strengths. She kind of worked, she was intelligent, she was quick and nimble, and she had skills. Like, it was never going to work if she was going to go end up in a fist fight with the bloody thing, you know what I mean? It just wouldn't be believable. But I thought strong female character working to her strengths without like just making it, unrealistic or whatever. Because it's a funny thing, science fiction. We know these things we're watching are not real. It's science fiction or, comic book or whatever. But like, I don't mind being manipulated, by the puppet masters who make these things, but I don't want to be able to see the strings. Like, I don't want these jumping the shark moments. They just take me out of it. So it had a really real world feel to it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So basically, I'm really excited about this. I want to see what it looks like. If I had to pick, it'd be the Predator from the first one. I think that's all I need. I don't need a Dutch. I mean, if they release a Dutch, I know a lot of people out there would be delighted. But for me personally, if I had to pick one Predator, it'd be the Predator, the main character from the first movie. But a close second would be this. And if they announce this and it looks good, it'll be very, very hard for me to say no. And it's nice because it brings a bit of diversity into the collection. I mean, we know the big three are Marvel, DC, Star Wars. Yeah, I get that. But it is nice, like, I've gone back over the last year or two and I found some, I wouldn't encourage everyone going back. I think it's a very expensive thing to do. But for those ones that you really, really, really love and you think that they're not going to 2.0 or re-release anytime soon, and if you keep, just keep an eye on the Facebook groups, keep an eye on Evil Bay, keep an eye on whatever buy, sell, trade groups you're part of, you can get some gems. Like, I mean, personally, I picked up the T-800 police shootout scene from Terminator 1 and the DX-13, which I looked for a long time, but I wasn't willing to pay those $800-900 prices. Just could not justify it. The Robocop in the chair. So it's nice having, like Terminator. So it's not DC, Marvel, Star Wars. So it's nice having like a Robocop. Again, not DC, Marvel, Star Wars. Today, really, really exciting. I got in the Arthur and Thomas Shelby, like I said, and that's completely out of left field. It's nothing to do with DC, Marvel, Star Wars. Really cool having that Cillian Murphy autograph. I hope he gets the Oscar now as well, but I hope he gets the Oscar anyway. You got to support your own. I'm going to address the chat really quickly. Would love the Predator from Prey. Mike, channel member in the building. Also, he was on, if you haven't checked it out, he's on the Hope Show episode number 9, I think. So the Hope Show is my weekly show that I do. Every single show has a main topic, kind of, something to do with collecting. Maybe it's like managing your budget, or what we did during the week, managing your space. I did one a few weeks ago about like how to maintain a clean look, if that's your type of thing. And if you're not, that's perfectly fine. If you want to stuff them all on the shelf, each to their own, completely get that. But we do kind of like we have a main kind of a collector related topic, so that's the Hope Show, Monday nights at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, or midday West Coast if you are in America on the West Coast. Sorry, they're kind of like the big three. I know there's other time zones in other countries, like 195 countries, but I can't go through the time zones for all of them. But they're scheduled. Check them out. Shiny. I'm very excited to see different licenses from Hot Toys. Me and you both. I don't think Marvel, DC, and Star Wars are hitting with people like they used to, so we got to expand their 1 6-figure focus. I like that. Okay, I see what you did there now. Yeah, you're not wrong, because I mean, like, I'm the ultimate cherry picker. I am not a completionist. I don't have the space, the money, the time to have everything. I simply don't. I cherry pick. I'm a cherry pick, but I actually love Troopers. That's my weakness. But if I had to sell, the Troopers would be the first to go. That's the realistic thing. So with this here, if you take Star Wars, for example, for me, Star Wars is the original trilogy and Rogue One. After that, no. The prequels I enjoy parts of. For example, I think the Duel of Fates is the greatest lightsaber choreographed battle in all of Star Wars. It's just fantastic. It's just so snappy and fast, and just the the added dynamic, because you have a double-bladed lightsaber from a like vicious Sith who just happens to be a bloody ninja in real life. You know what I mean? And then you have the two other, you have the, you know, the two red blades, the blue, the green. That's just bloody good TV. Awesome. Things like the pod race, fantastic. Seeing Anakin at the end, the emotion between Anakin and Obi-Wan, we are brothers and stuff like that, and seeing the creation of Darth Vader. You know, there's a lot in the sequels I like, but for me, I think they're overall, I don't think they're great films overall, whereas I love the original trilogy. Even looking back now, the practical effects, yeah, they're dated, but some of those practical effects still hold up. There's something about practical effects that you just can't get with CGI like the prequels. So yeah, Star Wars, I definitely pick and choose. So for me, it's the original trilogy, Rogue One, Mandalorian, Season 1 and 2, and Andor. Andor was so bloody good. I suppose you could probably put Book of Boba Fett episode 5 and 6 there as well. They were out of place good, but yeah, so like for me, I don't collect anything from the sequels. I won't collect anything from the sequels, maybe with the exception of an O2, but I just don't think I could do it. I think I'd rather wait for an original trilogy O2 or go back and get the one that they've released, but I think that one's coming. I still have faith in the Return of the Jedi 40th or 2, or maybe even the New Hope one. I still maintain that is coming. I'm just gonna have to wait and see. And then like DC, like this is, yeah. If you're saying, he says that you don't think Marvel are hitting like they used to, I kind of agree. Like, it built up as far as Endgame. Endgame was a beautiful combination of what was it, 12 years or something like that of movies, 23 movies or whatever it was. And then since then we've had glimmers of hope, like, okay, No Way Home was very strong, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was fantastic, parts of Wakanda Forever okay, but then there's some duds there, like Thor Love and Thunder was a shambles. I wasn't a fan of Multiverse of Madness. Quantumania, that whole what's the name of that fecker, that yoke, the head, the stupid head thing, he looks like Krang. You know the one I'm talking about. I'm drawing a blank. MODOK, yeah. No, that didn't work, although the figure looks hilarious. We're going to take a look at that as well. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So Trevor, totally down for this Predator. I thought you would be in. Trevor, thank you very much for joining in. Let me know if you're available for the Hope Show next Monday, actually. It'll be 3 p.m. New York time if that suits you. Renz from the Philippines, how are you doing? Mike, again, supporter of the channel, was on the Hope Show last week. All over the Predator. I thought you would be. Oh, pardon me. Stephen, I think I owe you a bit of a thank you. So, I'm in the collection room yesterday. I made the decision. I was going to get up in the morning. I was going to go for a swim. So I got up like really early. So I got up at like 7 or 8 o'clock, went for a swim, and then came into the collection room because there's a bunch of things I had to do. I had to drill holes in the bottom of a detolf for 2. I had to pose up Ahsoka, wire up the CCFLs, do the same for the Bespin loop base, and a bunch of stuff to do. So I'm not making content. I'm going to get this right and move things around in anticipation for new pieces. And one of the things I did was I have Luke, the Bespin Luke, with the light up base on the bottom shelf because I had to put him there. What worked, I had him on the top shelf, but then I couldn't see the light up base, and that bothered me. I just wanted to be able to see it. So I had the hole already drilled in the bottom of the detolf. It was very efficient in the morning. I picked up a USB to USB-C, and I thought, this is grand. Just popped it in the hole, no problem. I had drilled the hole big enough for a USB plug to fit through, and I know this because if you look at these two things behind me here, the Mark 6 Iron Man and the Mark 1 War Machine, they're both USB powered, so I knew when I was wiring them I needed to get the USB wire, just plug it into the two figures, cable tie it to the aluminium frame so to minimize the amount of wire on show, and then pop it down the bottom so they fit. But the USB to USB-C cable, the USB part of it was that bit bigger. Would not fit through. Just would not fit through, right? The USB-C part would go down, but then it would be underneath, and I needed that to come up through the hole. I then tried to wire the thing in with a piece of thread and tried to I tied a piece of thread onto the USB-C and tried to put it down underneath and try to pull it up through. Wasn't working. So I was getting really, really frustrated. And then I had to go away and buy, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut this USB-C cable and I'll just I'll just wire it. I expected maybe 1 or 2 wires inside this USB to USB-C cable, but as it's data, there's shitloads of wires. So I was like, right, I don't have the time, patience for that. That's beyond my capabilities. So to go and buy another bloody cable. My point is that for the whole day, because a job which should have taken me, it took me about a half an hour when I got the actual cable. It took me embarrassingly long time to do because I messed up so much. Bought the wrong cable. I should have looked at the USBs. It's done now anyway. The shorts on YouTube. But all the while I was looking at, I binged listened to Evil Sneakers channel. I think one of the live stream he was on. It was Collector Joey I started watching first or listening to. And he was on Collector Joey's channel a few days ago, and then I started watching the interviews you do as well with Graham and Austin. Austin's a great guy, and Brick Artemis. So yeah, you definitely. I needed. I was losing patience yesterday, but at least I had something to listen to in the background when I was working. So I do appreciate that. Mike is all over. Yeah, I see what you did there, Shiny. Fellow, you've got the addiction as well, Mike, or sorry, Stephen, the Troopers. Prey, yeah, it's another one I gotta see. You are familiar that there is a thing called television and people tend to watch it, Mike? How did you find out about YouTube? That's great to know, Trevor. Good stuff. So they probably should have taken a break after Endgame to rebuild people's hype. And with DC reset to, yeah, they should have. They should have stopped after Endgame and said, we're not making anything for like a year or two. I would have, they wanted to make money from the shows. And realistically, I don't think the shows do enough to propel on the overall story. Okay, you could say Loki introduced the multiverse, fair enough. But after that, like, what really happened? What happened in Hawkeye that was affecting the entire MCU? Like Falcon, okay, yeah, he became Captain America, but you could have put that into a movie at some point. Anyway, that's a different conversation. But yeah, I think they should have just stopped for a year or two and said, right, we've got a good thing going here. Let's plan more. It's like when you're doing DIY, measure twice, cut once. I think they were not measuring and just going into the cutting a bit. Like the Collector Tour, yeah, that's the name of it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Good vibe on the show. The vibe is important. All right, so yeah, look, I'm very interested to see what happens here. I wonder, is this going to be released, announced, should we say, as part of one of the Toy Fair exclusive? Because remember that Robocop from Robocop 3 with the jetpack? That came out of left field last year. That kind of blew people's minds. Last year was good. You had the Robocop from Robocop 3. You had the Mark 3 2.0 or 3.0, you know, the proper sized one, didn't have a swap out torso, it actually has torso articulation, better paint apps, that great Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt, that diorama base, a lot going on there. What else you had? You had the Vader with the cracked mask, wasn't that there as well? A lot of good stuff last year. So I'm wondering, will this be like the Robocop of this year, or will this just be a regular announcement? Interesting to see. Shout out to the 22 people watching. If you haven't, if you're enjoying the content, please like the videos. If you haven't yet subscribed and you're enjoying the content, please click that subscribe button. It really does help the channel. Okay, what's next on our agenda? There's that word again. Sideshow Con recap. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. We're going to take a look at that. Okay, so where is this Sideshow Con recap? All right. There it is. All right, let's take a look at some of this stuff. Trying to see how they've. Man, what the hell is that? There's some random stuff on this. Might just go up to their photos. Might be easier. Just go straight into the photos. Photos. Yeah, this might work. Okay, so what do they have here? Ending here. So this is, I believe, R5D4 with the mouse droid. I think this is already announced though, isn't it? Isn't this announced? I'm trying to think. The mouse droid, that has appeared before. That was in the IG-12, I believe. Would that be right? IG-12, and it's been, I think, did it come with a Trooper 2-pack and Krennic and Vader pack as well, or something like that? I'm wondering why it's with the R5D4. I don't think a mouse droid comes with R5D4. Maybe I'm wrong, but it would make sense to pose the two of them together because he kind of got attacked by the mouse droid in Season 3 of Mandalorian. This armor, I think I saw something today that this is actually new. I'm going to get the Sideshow tab open and see if I can just clarify that, because I believe that they're doing a 2.0 already. Now again, all this stuff is subject to purgatory. Like, let's be real. Like, all this stuff that they're showing us, like the do-back and stuff like that, a lot of this stuff's going to end up in purgatory and we'll never see it, because that's just what they do. Just on. Sorry, I just have to show this really quickly. Like this is perfect, right? This is actually perfect. Coming soon, the Snow Trooper. Okay, coming soon, the Jedi Starfighter 6. That's been there for years. The battle droids that are not Geonosis. The R419. Kit Fisto. Like, a lot of this stuff here. The two Captain Marvel and, is it Yonrog? Yeah, like a lot of this stuff here now. The N1. A lot of this stuff's never going to happen. But I think didn't they tease this time last year a quarter scale Mark 6 and a few different and integrated suit Spider-Man and all this kind of stuff? Alright, okay, so that's just yeah, that's my point. The point I'm making there is that a lot of the stuff we see doesn't mean it's going to turn up. So if you're new especially, might not turn up. I'm pretty sure though that this armorer here is a 2.0. I saw one of those kind of like, you know, when they have something goes up for pre-order, but they don't have images yet on Sideshow, the Sideshow background, but just have the, you know, armor, 6 scale figure, whatever. So there's some differences on this. I'm not sure what they are. I think maybe the thing that strikes me is the helmet looks a bit shinier. I don't know if this is the same, or I think it's a different one, to be honest. So there you got IG-12, and then you've got these Skittles to the left and the right. So you've got the these are, what are they called? Covert Mandalorians or something like that. So you got the male one on the left and the female one on the right. I'm just not excited about these, to be honest. I'm not excited about anything in this photo. And again, that comes back to how I collect. It's because earlier on the stream I said that when I think of Star Wars, like good Star Wars, original trilogy, Rogue One, I said Mandalorian season 1 and 2. After season 3, I just didn't think it was good. And I went back and I rewatched season 1 and 2, think, okay, maybe it was always just a bit like lackluster. And I was like, no, it wasn't. The standard was significantly higher in season 1 and 2. Actually, think season 2 was better than season 1. Just like off the top of my head, the Boba Roba episode where the Razor Crest gets blown to smithereens and Boba Fett takes out a battalion of stormtroopers and then gets his armor back. Fantastic episode. Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka live action introduction. Fantastic episode. Mando Luke. Come on, talk about righting the wrongs. The standard was significantly higher, but with season 3, if I don't like the source material, it's very, very hard for me to commit to purchasing these. I mean, I'd love to have a Giancarlo Esposito in the collection, but like a Moff Gideon, I don't think the head sculpt was on point. And if they do now the big like Iron Man Moff DeLorean type thing, I don't know if I'll justify that because I didn't particularly like the season. So that kind of does bother me. Everyone has to have a code. So yeah, you got R5D for 2 of these Mandalorian coverts. You got the armor and IG-12. Alright, we'll just move on anyway. I'll check in the chat really quickly. Need more IPs. Yeah, I hope so. He's talking about Prey, obviously. Figurastic. Yeah, like to see what you do with the photography there. Yeah, I think that'd be something like, again, comes back to like at the moment the collection, when I look around, I'm trying to see like what in the collection is not Marvel, DC or Star Wars. We got the RoboCop. Got the T800 Terminator from Terminator 1 and the Battle Damage DX13. And then you have the two Peaky Blinders downstairs. I mean, there's not much. And then even like what's not MCU, you got Deadpool and Cable. As in, you know, because obviously distinguished stream. But yeah, I think more diversity of that would be good. John Wick, hopefully they'll do that. I'm surprised there's been no official Fast and the Furious figures made by anyone. Yeah, I wouldn't be too furious if they never announced them, Sean. But yeah, each to their own. It's a massive franchise. There's like 47 movies now. Maybe I'm not. It's just because I'm not a petrol head. I think I watched the first two movies. Just not my cup of tea. But yeah, big enough franchise though. I've started to put together a Dwayne Johnson. You kit bashing it? The color of the armor looks slightly different. I think so. Yeah, I can't put. I think the helmet looks shinier for starters. They've given the armor no joints to stop people complaining about single joints. Yeah, the armor seemed like a very rushed figure. I mean, the armor as a character I like, but it had single jointed arms, which seems to be commonplace with female characters. Is that maybe because the double jointed arms are a bit bulkier or something? But then again, there's some female characters that do have double jointed arms, so it doesn't make sense. Also, I think in the bottom of the armor, I'm nearly sure there's two screws that you can see right up through the soles of the feet. Favreau is out at Lucasfilm. By season 3, he realized what was going on, basically gave up. What do you mean? As in, like he's just not. He's at odds with them. I should have bought 3 coffees. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. What else? We're gonna go through this stuff. We don't want to be here all day. All right. This is interesting. Now, I do think the do-back looks great. The do-back looks fantastic. But I also think the Trooper, while I love the weathering and the extra accessories you don't normally get with your standard Trooper, like the kind of lance or something he's holding, the whatever it is on his back, kind of some sort of tube or whatever, I'm not sure what that is, and the binoculars are pretty cool. I think the Clone Pilot came with binoculars, and I think maybe the Sand Trooper might have as well, but I like all that. And the white pauldron, he just looks awkward on it. So I'm hoping that if they announce it, like this to me now, this is purgatory all over it. Like going back to this, we have IG-12, it's been announced. R5D4 has been announced. I do think we're gonna see these covert Mandalorians. It's an easy, you take a Boba Fett, you repaint it. Like it's an easy release for them. It's like Troopers. They like doing things like that. I do think we're gonna see another armor. I'm not sure about this. This is probably the most exciting thing that I saw over the last day. I didn't sit down and watch their streams. I just flicked through some of the images, and this is the thing that stood out to me going, that's awesome. Again, because it's original trilogy. What's this, like New Hope? It looks the business. It looks really, really well. But that guy on is very awkward. Now, can I get it? Absolutely not. I simply don't have the space. It's just not even going to front. But for me, if I want to buy a bigger piece like that, I will always lean towards a vehicle as opposed to a do-back. I could actually get this. This would fit on the floating shelves, I believe. Now it's quite big, like I suppose, how would you say it, the footprint of this. But if you look at it, a lot of it's tail and a lot of it's the head and the front. So all you need there, I'd say the 4 feet would actually, it's only 3 on the ground actually, but looking at it, I would say it would actually comfortably fit on the floating shelves I have. But for me, something big like this, I would prefer a vehicle. I'm more of a vehicles person, and specifically I'm more of something that flies person, So The vehicles I only have one vehicle, and that's the Batpod, and that thing is ginormous. But I'm glad I got that first to give me an idea of what a speeder bike would be like, or a DeLorean, or a 1989 Batmobile. I have ordered the 89 Batmobile, but I think I cannot justify getting any more because I simply don't have the space. And that is the one vehicle I think. I've never been a massive Back to the Future fan. I've watched the movies, they're classics, are really enjoyable, they're well made. I love the look of the DeLorean, but I'm not enough of a fan to pull the trigger on that. But the Batman 89, I just couldn't pass that up. I have an area for it, but really after that, I can't be going down this vehicle's route. So this is something I'm going to have to admire from afar if it does go up for pre-order, but yeah, it looks pretty damn cool. I'd prefer this over Blurg any day of the week because it's original trilogy, obviously, The paint apps look different than this. Is it just my imagination? This fella, I've seen people kind of losing their minds about this, but it just comes from the sequels, so it's just an easy pass for me. I think this is 1:1. Look, I think this fella is probably the best part of the sequels. Actually, no. In fairness, The Force Awakens wasn't bad. My scoring system for movies, I keep it simple. I 5 stars. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't go into this scoring things out of 10 and someone go, oh, I think it's a 9.8. I think it's an 8.65. Where are you getting that 0.05 from? Let me see your scoring system. Keep it simple. A 5-star movie is a movie that stands the test of time. A movie that you absolutely love, that blows your mind. That you can watch and then 20 years later watch it again and get the same kind of buzz or similar buzz. Something that no matter when you watch it, what mood you're in, it'll give you that buzz. Like your Terminator 2, your Aliens, your The Matrix, your Empire Strikes Back, your Dark Knight, Fight Club, Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Inception, Interstellar, just bloody good movies. 4-star then would be for me, very good movies, just solid movie, really, really good, just on the verge, they're not quite mind-blowing, but they're still an excellent standard. I think the Batman would fall into a 4-star movie for me personally. It's not quite a 5-star, but it is solid. It's a really, really good movie. It's not just a good movie, it's a very good movie or an excellent movie. 3 stars would be good, 2 stars would be meh, and 1 star is a bad movie. Force Awakens I thought was a 3-star movie. It wasn't terrible. It definitely wasn't excellent. It wasn't very, very good. It was solid. 2, 3-star, 3-star max, 2-star the lower end. And then the Jedi was 2, and then the last movie was 1. But besides the X-Wings and Force Awakens and some bits and pieces like that, this guy was probably the best part of the whole sequel trilogy. These Ancillions. But there's no chance in hell that I'm going to pick this up. I don't even know. I say that this is going to come though. I actually think they're going to do this. I mean, we've seen them in the sequels. We've seen them again. They were kind of all over the shop there in Mando Season 3. It wouldn't surprise me if they do this 1:1. This is 1:1. It wouldn't surprise me. I think it's smaller than Grogu as well. And it seems to be a fan favourite. So I think it possibly could actually happen. I'm going to address the chat there. Keep bashing the figure because I'm a huge Rock fan. Did you not pick up the Black Adam? No. 28 in the chat. Very much appreciate you being here. Please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Am I getting Anakin? No. I'm not Mark. Mark Attack. I actually love that name. That's cool. If you've been following the channel, I rule out entire lines because I want to be here next year and the year after and enjoy the hobby for sustainability. I don't want to be buying something and then selling it 6 months down the road. Nothing wrong with selling, but you know what I'm saying. So I will never buy something for the sequels. I don't collect the prequels. I don't collect things from video games or animated series, Clone Wars and stuff like that. So when it comes to Star Wars, yeah, original trilogy, Rogue One, Mandalorian. If they did Andor figures, I'd definitely take a look. But yeah, prequels, I don't. And also, I'm not sold on that rooted hair, and we'll get to that. 16 Figure Focus, happy Wednesday. It's been a minute. Good to see you. Benjamin E. Green, good to see you. From New York, I believe, yeah? Brick Artemis. Brick, would you have any interest in coming on an episode of Visions? Seeing as I was on the, I think I had Dilo on, I've had Graham on, and I think you're the only one that I haven't had on, so it wouldn't be fair. But let me know if you're interested in coming on an episode of Visions sometime. I would agree. Sorry, are you talking about the dewback? I presume you're talking about the dewback, or you talk about the Anzillion. Yeah, it must be the dewback because Mike's commenting on the dewback. And Mike, I'm a bit concerned, man. I think we need an intervention. Like, you know, you're completing all the Clone Wars stuff. You got the 2 Bark Speeders coming. You got that quarter scale Dark Knight. You're getting the dewback. Hope your module cases are big, man. I'm just kidding. Anakin not sold yet. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that. Like a banter. That's funny. Folks, if you're having space issues, go back and watch this stream yesterday called yeah, smart arse. This is Mando 3 and Zillion, I think. I feel like I'm not saying that right. And Zillion. Yeah, even if it's branded like that. But you know, he appeared, to be fair, in the sequels. This is the first time he appeared, I believe. It was, I can't remember, was it episode 8 or 9? Funny, the only Star Wars film that I've only watched once was the final one. I don't even know its name. Number 9. I just no. Yeah, I think Attention Seeking Geek Ben is going to be tempted. I remember him saying probably about a year and a half ago on a stream, going, if they do this, he's going to be all over it. I think he's going to be tempted. 100% pickup. Yeah, not for me. It looks good though. Like, I liked the character. They were funny. They were comic relief. Like, you know, I could probably watch them like, I'd like to sit around and watch a bunch of them having a chat, like, you know, it'd be funny, like, but yeah, I wouldn't be picking them up. I'll be getting Black Adam, just undecided what version to get. Figure looks good. But yeah, this one, I do think they're going to announce this. It's so funny, this one here, the Skittles Mandalorian Covert. It just looks like such random colors. You got your baby blue, you got bits of silver here. You got kind of like a light white or weathered white or beige. You got some brown going on. You got some blue, orange, green. I can see where people are calling them Skittles. No, don't have an interest in this, now, to be honest. So is this the female one then? This is the male one? They look cool though. They look cool. But I think it's just based on the strength of season 3. Not something I'd pick up. But then again, you get an armor and you have these 2 flanking it. That's going to be cool. I suppose people are going to treat these like troopers, really, aren't they? They're not named characters. I collect troopers for my sins, but you know, you take any figure. You take Darth Vader and put 2 normal white stormtroopers next to it. Enhances the display. You take Moff Gideon and put 2, I don't know, Death Troopers next to him. Regular stormtroopers. Shore troopers. It'll enhance the display. So you take like Mando and put the 2 of these behind them, or you take the armor and put the 2, or Bo-Katan. I can see people making some really impressive displays with this. Yes. This cracked me up. I know, a total gimmick, but it absolutely cracked me up. You know, but I just didn't see it was such what's it, MacGuffin or whatever, a gimmick, because it was like he'd started his training and he was able to like force hop. That was his transport method. If that wasn't available, he still had his pram. That was another thing. And didn't this dude, like in season 1, prior to any training whatsoever from Luke, lift not the mythosaur, the mudhorn up? Like, he stopped fire as well, didn't he, from the incinerator? Like, the guy can use the force. Like, to be fair, he could just crush this, you know, with his mind. Like, so it was definitely shoehorned in there to sell figures. Again, we all know that, you know, George Lucas back in 1977, and he just wanted the rights to merchandising, and that's how he made his millions or billions. And I get that. And I get that a lot of these things are made to sell merchandise, and I get that. So I don't mind being controlled by the puppet master, but I don't want to see the strings. And I saw this and I went completely just for merchandise, you know? No, we're just going to move on through this. What is this? This is like these artists' takes. It's probably cost about 10 grand or something. Loki on the throne. First thing I noticed about this head sculpt is that the President Loki head sculpt. I'm going to just go into the chat here now. I think this is destined for purgatory. I think this is a strong purgatory. I actually want to see, so far, I think the Anzillion is coming. Anzillion. I think all those others. I just want to scroll back through this because it's interesting to see, to go back on this and see if I was right or wrong. So I have no insider information. This is just like, my gut tells me you're probably going to get everything here. I think this is going to purgatory. I think the Anzellin is going to come, and then I think this is going to end up in purgatory. This looks to me like the President Loki head with the, is it the endgame version? I think it looks similar to the endgame version. It does look similar. One second. Yeah, it does look similar to that endgame version with the President Loki head on it. And then a throne. People like things with thrones. It's a bloody huge throne though. I think this is destined for purgatory. I'm calling purgatory on that one. Benjamin E. Green confirming he is in New York. Love New York. I know, bro. First step is admitting you have a problem. Yeah, don't admit you have a problem. You're grand. Collector Joey says, what's up? Collector Joey, looking forward to being on your... I think I'm on your stream at some point. I must check on that. But looking forward to stream with you at some point. I like the covert Mando design, but you're right about the color scheme. Could Neon Tech be on the horizon? Yeah. It's funny, like it... In a real life scenario, like let's say it's an apocalypse at the end of the world, you know, an alien invasion or a zombie outbreak or just war, you're trying to fit in, like you're trying to be camouflaged, you know. So that's what I kind of like about Star Wars. Like they, a lot of the time, not always, I know this is Star Wars, but a lot of the time, say the officers and stuff like that, like had kind of darker clothes, like, you know, like if you look at, I'll give an example. We spoke about the Bespin Luke. You know, it's a fairly, it's not like a glow in the dark outfit. It's like a janitor's outfit. Ben Kenobi, you know, it's a dark brown cloak. You know, a lot of the officers have kind of more muted colors. So, you know, you can understand, like, I know that the stormtroopers are white and stuff like that, but like, you know, basically sometimes the characters looked like they'd blend in. Endor, you know, they were all having, you know, they have kind of the ponchos and stuff they had was green and different colors to camouflage. But it's just funny, like your bounty hunter, wouldn't you want to kind of fit in instead of standing out? Whereas the Skittles ones definitely stand out. But then again, like, I mean, then again, like we know they're done like this because they look visually cool. Yeah. And all you need anyway is, if you're trying to hide someone, you just need a big oversized olive kind of overcoat. That's how Kenobi hid Leia, remember that? So as much as I love Grogu IG hybrid on the show, I don't need it. Yeah, gotcha. I can see why people would get the deluxe version though, if you had all those, if you had Bo-Katan, the Heavy Mando, and if you had R5D4, then you get all those accessories and you don't need to upgrade. So what's going on with Loki? Hot Toy making statues now. I like it, but not making... I don't think this is a statue. I think it's just posed. I'm pretty sure this is just a 6-scale figure on a throne, the Endgame Loki body and the President Loki head sculpt. I think. Again, I didn't watch the stream, so if I'm wrong on that, please correct me. I thought they said Loki on the throne was a 6-scale statue. Did they? My bad. I don't know. I don't think it's a statue. Maybe it is. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Good stuff. I'll be there. All right, here we go. My bad. Loki's a figure. I read somewhere. Some people were saying, "Oh, it's going to be a statue." Like, you know, once you put it in that pose, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like, if I remember correctly, the Mandalorian shown in season 1 had more muted armor and colors. Yeah, true. Actually, the was a Navarro. They're kind of like dark blues and greens and stuff like that. None of them are like Skittles colored, like. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something in the lore that I don't know. Which, you know, the lore is massive. There's plenty of stuff I don't know. Okay, so I think the TVA Loki is still the strongest Loki head sculpt. I've got the endgame version. Looks good with the helmet on, not so much with it off. But I do think that something's a bit of a miss here with this particular sculpt, and the TVA one is better. What is going on here? This is these artists' impressions. Like, this looks like a teenager's school bag. It's like, did you ever see someone with like random tattoos, like really random tattoos, like this stuff here? It's like they went in to the tattoo shop and just goes, "I want tattoos," and like everything just gets thrown on them then. Okay, so moving on. Guardians of the Galaxy. So far out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that we have here, Guardians of the Galaxy, great trilogy. Love the third movie. So far we have 4 out of these 6 announced. You have Rocket and Cosmo. We've had Groot. We've had Star-Lord. We have Nebula. They have teased that they're going to complete this, but you know, every time you see one of those photos, you got to take it with a pinch of salt. That's why everything we saw here in Sideshow there's definitely stuff we're not going to see. Definitely stuff that's destined for purgatory. The N1 is still in Hot Toys purgatory. The whatchamacallit, the 1989 back computer we saw teased last year is still in purgatory. The Star-Lord T'Challa from What If still in purgatory. There's a whole coming soon page there on Sideshow that's still in purgatory. Yeah, so like, I mean, even like, look at the teases, those teases they put out recently, or well, about a year ago. The 2022 Batmobile was teased, purgatory. Vulture, purgatory. So they do this a lot. John Wick, I think John Wick and Kane is probably coming. They're just waiting for the right time, but that has a smell of Toy Fair exclusive off it. Yeah. So we're waiting on Drax and Mantis. Mantis should be an easy make for them because it's a Christmas Mantis in a different suit. And Drax, I don't know how similar. The body on this looks big enough. I think the other one was a bit undersized, the one that they did, which had the awkward joints and the body wasn't as big as Dave Bautista's physique in the movie. I think he was bigger in the movie, to be honest. But look, they'll be able to complete the line at least. I gotta say, I'm not getting any of these. As much as I liked the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, I can't commit to these. If I was to get them, I think I'd rather the ones that are all different. You know, Star-Lord with the large trench coat. You know, one of the looks for Mantis or Gamora or whatever like that. I think I prefer when they're all different. That's what kind of I thought was cool about the Guardians of the Galaxy. They were all completely different characters. You had like a tree, you had a raccoon that talked, you had a human, you had, you know, the blue girl, the green girl, you know, big guy with tattoos and stuff like that. And they were all so different, like a motley crew. And that's what I thought was cool. But look, I don't think people are going to be complaining if they release them all. They will look great together. Just not for me. I have Rocket. I have Rocket on Iron Patriot's shoulder. Anyone in a rush to get this? I'm going to address the chat there while you answers this question. Answers. I have no interest in these artsy-fartsy pieces. Fair enough. It's art, Shane. No, your photography is art. This is expensive stuff. Yeah, look, I mean, it's just not for me. Like, I don't know what the price is on this, but like, there's so much out there. You gotta have a code. You gotta have a way of collecting. Otherwise, you're just buying random stuff and hoarding, and you'll eventually have to sell the stuff on. I was happy to see Drax finally Yeah, hopefully they put it up for announcement. I know there's people anticipating that. Head sculpt looks... I was thinking that. But I can't remember the head sculpt in the first one enough. Star-Lord and Nebula are the only ones I'm considering. And the only ones we're waiting for is Drax and Mantis. You got the Christmas Mantis. You've got an original version of Drax out there, but we don't have the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Drax or Mantis. Hot Toys presents the Loki. Yeah, with Throne 6-scale figures confirmed. Okay. Good stuff. Right, now what else? We'll flick through some of these. Come on. Oh, this yoke here. I don't think this looks good at all. I really don't. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the comic book origins. I think this is something that a lot of people want. Those diehard comic book fans really want the comic accurate characters. So comic accurate Iron Man or Thor or Black Widow or whoever. And I get that. Definitely not for me. If I had to get something comic book action, I'd probably go for the Origins one with the acrylic parts, because I actually like the design on that. I'd make my peace with the acrylic parts and the computer and stuff like that. But even at that, it's like I can't justify it, because again, my collecting is rooted in my love of movies, film, cinema, TV. And as much as I have gone back and read, I have read graphic novels and comic books, I often see movies, and especially movies I really like and I really respect. I'll read somewhere that the director chose had used comic book XYZ or comic book run in particular to inform and inspire and build the movie around. And then I'm always interested by that, to go back and read those comics and see where the director got their inspiration and influence from, and what made the final cut and what didn't. Because sometimes some directors are really good at lifting things directly from the comic books and put it on screen and making it work. And then other times they take liberties and change things because they realize the thing in the comic book probably won't work for their vision. But yeah, this is not for me. I'd imagine the comic book fans are loving this, but it looks cheap. To be honest, it looks cheap. This looks like something you'd see in Toys R Us for 50 quid or something. Not even. That's probably a very unpopular opinion. It just does nothing for me, to be honest. You put this next to the Mark III 2.0 or the Battle Damaged Mark 85 or the Mark 6 behind me. It's just no competition. But you could be looking at this and you could be a diehard comic book fan, and if this is comic book accurate, it actually it's very similar design to the one that they released, their acrylic one, because it has if you look at where the shoulder meets the the arm here, to have those swellings, or to have the discs on the hips and stuff like that. How many of these is there? That's kind of funny. I saw this last year. That's a statue. I think a lot of people would have saw that if it was when you click into their Instagram or Sideshow and you're looking at something on your phone that's small, and it's they would have seen that and went, oh look, it must be Guardians of the Galaxy Hot Toys 1/6 scale Yondu, but then they realize it's not. This is the Miles Morales from the game. I saw this as well. I have no interest in these artists' interpretation. I think we've pretty much hit all the main ones. Just want to go and see if I've missed anything there. It's going to go back out. I want to just see if there's anything there I missed. We've got to talk about Anakin as well. That's all the Star Wars stuff. Some of the art pieces. Loki. More art pieces. Guardians, so you got some Marvel stuff in there. The comic book accurate Iron Man. More art pieces, more statues. This is still yesterday, isn't it? It is indeed. Scarlet Witch. Which one? No, that's from WandaVision. I wanted to see a photo of the Anakin with the rooted hair that they showed. Yeah, no matter. We'll just switch over now to take a quick look at Anakin, what they actually teased. Okay. Based on this, forget about what you might have seen yesterday, because I do think they had this in the Sideshow Con booth yesterday, and it didn't look great. Just based on this image, what do you think? Okay, so we got some people who's Trevor's a fan, so obviously a comic book fan. And I buy into a line like this. So you want those comic book representations? Yeah, good stuff. I think Ian shares my opinion. This looks awful in my opinion. It looks cheap, about 20 bucks. It's funny how people like look at the same thing and just like polar opposite thoughts. And I suppose that's what keeps it interesting. It'd be boring if we all like the same stuff. I was surprised by this as well. Hot Toys already did the comic book accurate diecast pieces. Yeah, I remember like some people were happy with that, and some people were like, oh, another Iron Man, and some people were like, the acrylic parts were annoying for people, and you know. I wish Hot Toys would redo the comic book action Iron Man and simply replace it. Yeah, that was a popular opinion. Yeah. I like the bright colours and want more cartoony figures, but still just an Iron Man. Okay. The Mayfix one is better apparently. Okay. On this image, it looks good. Is it a 6 scale figure? I presume it is. Well, we'll just read the blog first, because I want to make sure I'm giving the correct information out. To me, this looks really good. And the rooted hair looks really good. I think this looks very like Hayden Christensen. I just think the head sculpt is fantastic. I actually think the hair is really good. But the one they showed yesterday at Sideshow Con, which I think might actually be this one, did not look good. Because this one here, if this is your product and you're doing rooted hair and they want it to look good, they're going to futz with this for probably hours to get it looking right before they take those snaps. But the one yesterday was very frizzy looking. So I want to just read this little blog. Is there a blog that comes with this? Not much. Hot Toys is delighted to announce a brand new series covering works that represents our ambition. I don't have a clue what that means. Expect to meet the legendary Star Wars character as our top-notch figure shortly. Does this mean they're doing another series of figures that are just a bit more higher quality? Do you know? Like, is this like their new DX type thing? And they have backstage written here. I don't know what that's about. This is the official Hot Toys Facebook page, but this backstage is just like the backstage. Is that the name of the blogger? Or is this like backstage a new series that they have or something like that? Maybe it's just the name of the blogger. I gotta say, I think this looks really well. It actually looks very photorealistic. I am impressed by that head sculpt, but this didn't look like this in the photos I saw yesterday. I'm not sure even was it supposed to be the same version of Anakin, but yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Right, so really quickly, some new videos on the channel. These are just videos I did about a week or two ago. So best announcements of 2023 so far. Again, just it's not a complete list. It is just figures that I got really, really excited about for announcements, not releases. And then the best releases that so far, basically the best Hot Toys releases so far this year that I really, really tickled my fancy, the ones I really, really liked. These are ones that are just due for release this year, and I think about 4 of the figures on this in this video have already been released. So like I made the video, scheduled the video, by the time it come out they'd already dropped 4. It was like Cad Bane, Fennec, Casca. This is just a recap of the last kind of 2 weeks. That this video dropped about a week or 2 ago. New streams in the channel. The Hope Show episode 9 went live a few days back on Monday, and then this is what you're watching right now. So flick back to this particular image and address some of the chats there. The Anakin is, for me, really like it. The Anakin is unreal, but dealing with the rooted hair is a nightmare. It depends. Like, I know a lot of people got the in-art Joker and it was like an afro. I got lucky in the sense that there was no, it's funny, there was, I got lucky in the sense that all I had to do was grab the hair and push it down a small bit, and I haven't touched it since, and it looks really good. It's not all over the place. However, on the flip side though, the 2 circular cylinders that the head sculpts come in, the head sculpts are supposed to be attached to the bottom. Mine weren't. They'd come loose in transport. Of course, like I got it from Lion Rock Toys. That's not their fault. They didn't ship it to me. Whoever was shipping it obviously weren't just throwing it around the place. I mean, you've seen baggage handlers and how baggage handlers handle your bags at airports. But I do think that comes back to in-art not securing those head sculpts properly. Like the cylinders are a great call because, you know, it means that there's nothing touching the head sculpt, right? But they really need to jam them in a bit better or stick them on a bit better. And there was a little nick on one of my head sculpts, and 2 of the head sculpts are actually the same. But again, Lion Rock Toys are sending me out a replacement this month. But the hair, perfect. I was so impressed by the hair. I did think that when I got it, it'd be all over the shop and I'd have to style it. And then I was like, I'll probably come back a few days later and it'll be back to all over the shop. Hasn't budged. Whatever product they put in it, really, really impressed. Hot Toys need to be doing the same or better. Now, I know other people have gotten their in-art Joker and the hair is all over the place, but I kind of got lucky in one sense. Mario! N1 is not coming. I'm Team Mario. Day 1. N1 is not coming. Sideshow one. This Sideshow one yesterday had hair like Bondi or Bodhi, yeah, it was all over the place, man. It no, sounds like a $400 plus line coming soon. Yeah. Shane, ever heard of hair gel? Of course I've heard of hair gel, Paul, but like, I don't want to go and get hair gel for this rooted hair figure and apply it and style it. I want it to kind of come out and more or less be good to go on the shelf. So yeah, I mean, that is the expectation. You're doing this with rooted hair. At least try to get it styled. They should style it first for you and then transport it in a way that it gets to you and you just have to pop it in. Mike, Justin was on Jetta's stream last night and he said that in Hong Kong, Hot Toys sends professional futzers to get the hair just right. Professional futzers. What a job title. Yeah, so, but that makes sense. Like, just get it sorted, put some sort of product in it so it doesn't budge. Trevor16 Shooter knows about this. He explained it to me. They put some sort of product in rooted hair, like customs, that just it just stays put, more or less. You can futz it if you want, but it more or less stays put. So backstage is what's Sideshow Con's viewing room. Is that right? Because this was posted on this image here was posted on the official Hot Toys page, but I suppose they're associated, aren't they? Sideshow is the official distributor for Hot Toys. That makes sense. Okay, so backstage is the Sideshow Con viewing room. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Appreciate. Is it limited? I have no other information just yet. I presume that would be announced during the day or something like that. Just want to take a quick look at stuff that just take a look at all this stuff here. So this is like, I do think that all these cons. I mean, it's great when the Toy Fair exclusives come out because it's just like, here's 4 or 5 figures. These are exclusive to, you know, Toy Fair 2023 or San Diego, whatever. Usually just like 2 waves. last year was great because they're up for pre-order. But stuff that's just shown at these cons, they disappear. A lot of the time they disappear. They go into purgatory. Sure, the DeLorean Mark II is in purgatory for like 7 years. Does rooted hair deteriorate? I don't know. If it's lamb, I think is it lamb's wool or some sort of sheep's wool hair that a lot of the good customs make the rooted hair out of, and it's organic. So I'm guessing maybe it does break down over time. But then again, they probably put enough product in it that it doesn't. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't had one for, like I had one, the rooted Inner Joker, but I mean, I've only had it for a few months, so I don't know yet. Ask me again in 10 years time. Or ask Trevor. If Trevor's still in the chat, maybe he'll answer that question. It's a good question. All right, so look at these. Like, so all these things here that were teased at, I know, cons, or maybe they went up on pages or stuff like that. Mostly cons by the looks of things. Your Snowtrooper 6-scale figure, the Jedi Starfighter, Or 419, Battle Droid, the regular one, not non-Geonosis. The Spider-Man light up functions. This is like a Hall of Armor type of thing for Spider-Man. A Velocity suit, not sure what that's from. Kit Fisto, the Clone Trooper. Jan Rog from what's it, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel before she changed the colours on her suit. Quantum time travel machine. Okay. The War Machine team suit. A lot of this stuff here. Indiana Jones Deluxe version. Does that mean no. Does that mean the regular version is only up? That's the old Indiana Jones that just went up there. So why does it say coming soon there? I need to check that one out in 1 second. N1 is there. Quarter scale Mark II. Quarter scale integrated suit. Quarter scale upgraded suit. Baron Zemo. A lot of stuff here in Purgatory. So I think some of the stuff we're seeing at Sideshow Con will inevitably end up in Purgatory. And I want to see that Indiana Jones. It's saying that I think that's a mistake there. I'm pretty sure Indiana Jones is up for pre-order. Okay, so pre-release. Newest. Interesting. What? I did not realize this. I thought that Indiana Jones had actually gone up for pre-order on Sideshow. I'm nearly sure someone told me that. Start this again. Hot Toys. Pre-release. Newest. Interesting. So it's not there yet. I'm nearly sure someone said it was it had gone up. All right. Kit Fisto, yeah. I realize you don't want to go messing around with the hair. It's a shame it can't come with something. But that's my point, Paul. The In-Art Joker did come with that. I think it's made from an organic, like lamb's wool or sheep's wool or something like that. Trevor knows the exact name of stuff. And there was product in it that it actually feels hard to touch, but you can actually manipulate it if you just push it a small bit with your hands or fingers. They did some video if you get a tiny little brush, a bit of water, you can actually manipulate it, wet it a small bit and style it the way you want. Like, I personally just don't touch it, you know. I want, like, I it's kind of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I like the way it's sitting. I think it's realistic looking. I want to kind of like not futz with that because I'd just be worried that I'd actually just completely make a mess of it. Indiana Jones not up for pre-order yet. That's why, that is mad, because I knew there was a delay, but then I thought someone posted that it was up. I think I'm going to leave it there, folks. I'm getting a little tired. I want to go get something to eat. If you haven't checked out the shorts I have on my channel, actually, let's see if I can show them to you here. 1 second. I've got, yesterday I was working on CCFLs, so I want to show you 1 second, let's see if I can get them onto the computer. They're just sending there. Okay. Get rid of this. Okay, you can see the Ahsoka. 1 second. So you can see there are 2 CCFLs for Ahsoka. Mando Luke and Bespin Luke with the light up base as well. I have to clear up a space here, and there's another space behind me for Cad Bane. This is my Mando line. Based my Mando line on key episodes of Mandalorian that just blew my mind. So Ahsoka's appearance, obviously have to have Mando. I may upgrade to the Chrome Mando at some stage, possibly. Obviously, season finale, season 2, Mando Luke. Boba Fett, I do have the other, I got the Boba Roba 2-pack, and then Cad Bane's going to be over there. Technically not Mandalorian, but I wanted a kind of a villain, and I really liked his appearance. As much as I didn't like the Book of Boba Fett, I thought his scenes were fantastic. Alright, so let's see if this these videos have actually sent. Give me a second, I'll show you these shorts, I'll show you them a bit better. No, they haven't. Come on, stop messing around. Right, try this again. If you're just joining us, just bear with me. I want to show you. Just want to show you these 2 very quick videos showcasing the CCFLs. It's just taking its time sending them to my computer for some reason. While we're waiting on this, could you just type into the chat there, like, what did you see? Is there anything you saw at Sideshow Con so far that you're actually interested in? So for the 31 people watching right now, is there anything that really grabbed your attention, something you'd consider buying? This is taking its sweet time. I know why it's actually not working. It should work now. Yeah, it should work now. Indiana Jones deluxe version, yeah, coming soon. And then we've got yeah, could be the way forward. Yeah, it's not just rooted hair and they leave you do it. It's styled already. Sorry folks, this actually isn't working here for me. I'll try a different way. Alright, bear with me, I'll get this done. Alright, where is this? Where would this be? I've got to go into my own channel, I suppose. And if I go to shorts, okay, this might be the way. This may work. Okay. Okay. Right, so this is just Luke here.
Hi everyone and welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus, and in this short video we're going to take a look at the Hot Toys 1/6 scale DX24 Luke Scott.
It's probably better if you just actually watch the short yourself. But that, you get the gist of it. Yeah, so that was the gist of it anyway. So you could probably better if you just check out the shorts yourself, and you can get a better look on your phone with yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much to the 31 people watching right now. If you enjoyed the content, consider hitting the like button. If you're not yet subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button. Massive shout out to all channel members, troopers and commanders. You'll be seeing their names now as soon as I roll the outro. If you want to become a channel member and you're curious to what that is, you can check out the perks and additional features on the community tab. And there's a link pinned in the description there if you want to consider becoming a channel member. Really quickly before I roll the outro, just going to address some of these comments. Shane, how often do you clean your display cases? What do you use, sir? Not as often as you may think. I think the room, I'm lucky it's not that dusty, but maybe once every 3 months I might take everything out, just use a bit of Windex and some I suppose kitchen roll or something like that, just to get a bit of a shine on them and remove any dust and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe once every 3 months. Gives you an opportunity to repose then if you want to, or move things around. Shout out to Chuli, channel member, who's interested in the Sand Trooper and the Dewback. Costa is into the Anakin and the Dewback. That Dewback could end up in purgatory. I hope it's released for the people that want it. Sean saying nothing at all. It's Indiana Jones deluxe version, something that Benjamin is into. Figurassic Park, interest in the Anzilian Modoc. Modoc, yeah. I couldn't find any pictures of Modoc. Why is that? Give me 1 second to see if I can take a look at that. Like that should have been there. You know, I actually have to go, so I'm just going to leave it there. But check out Modoc there. It actually looks ridiculous, but the head sculpt is on point for sure. Thing looks huge, but I just thought it was not a great film. And I didn't really like the interpretation of Modoc in that, but still looks, it's bizarre. It's just a bizarre looking yoke, but the face is creepy. It's nearly like the size of a baby's face. But yeah, look, I'm out of here anyway. Thanks very much for watching, and sure, look, we'll see you all in the next one, hopefully. And yeah, see you folks.